Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Going to my cheat sheet for today's MLB main slate for today on DraftKings. Before we continue though, if you could leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos, I would really appreciate that. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChrisPinell16. If you want access to my cheat sheet, my projections, my hitting model, pitching model, and I also do a updated video on my Patreon as well. Hit the link in the description below. It'll take you to my Patreon, and you can get access to all this stuff and my Slack chat where I answer questions all day, and we pretty much just have fun in there. It's nothing intimidating. It's a nice laid-back environment, and you can joke around and just have fun during the games, and just before the games, ask me all the questions you want. So yeah, anyway, let's get into this cheat sheet. I want to go over the pitchers first, so we'll give you a preview of the pitching sheet just so you know what you'd be getting into if you do want access to this. So let's talk about Jacob Degrom, Jose Barrios, and Wade LeBlanc. So Jacob Degrom at 11,800. In my opinion, he's the clear spend up of this slate. And I'm sure that's what other people are going to be saying too. It's just a great matchup versus the White Sox. Noah Syndergaard struck them out, I believe, 11 times last time I looked. And Noah Syndergaard only has a 23% K rate. And if you compare that to Degrom's 31% K rate, and the White Sox are striking out a 26% clip to righties. This seems like a fantastic spot for Jacob Degrom here. He's an elite pitcher. If you just take a look at his stats really quick, I mean, he's having an excellent season. His ERA is at 2.86. His xFIP's a little higher at 3.29, but that's still elite. 31% K rate, only a 6% walk rate, and just overall at fantastic numbers. And the thing I even like more than just how good Jacob Degrom is the matchup versus the White Sox. So if you look at their splits when it comes to right-handed pitching, not very good. As you can see, 26% K rate, 86 WRC plus, 149 ISO, 299 WOBA. Not very good. If Barrios wasn't playing the Marlins, these would be really dark green. So I do like Jacob Degrom quite a bit. And I also did add Fanduel Salaries on here as well, because I do have a couple people in the chat that asked for Fanduel Salaries. So I did put that on there, and I made a value for the projections. The projections are on the end. So if you are interested in that, I do have the Fanduel Salaries too, just to see who's a better value on Fanduel as well. I myself don't play Fanduel, so I don't do anything too in-depth for Fanduel, but I do have the salaries listed. So anyway, that's enough for Jacob Degrom. Jose Barrios, he's at 10,700, coming in at a slight discount at about 900 savings. So his ERA is sitting at 2.94, but his xFIP's all the way up at 4.42, which is pretty dramatic, and he's only got a 21% K rate, 5% walk rate. So why do I like Barrios? Simply it's just because of the matchup versus the Marlins. As we just took a look, the Marlins are just absolutely awful versus right-handed pitching. No power, strike out quite a bit, I believe 25%, and just overall they're just not very good. But the thing is, Barrios isn't the highest upside pitcher. I know last time, I believe it was versus the White Sox, he had a very good game, which pretty much everyone was on him. I think he was like 70% owned in cash or something like that. But it's another good matchup for him. The only thing that worries me is he just doesn't have a ton of upside night in, night out. So I want to go with Jacob Degrom. I think he's the safest play. He's a little expensive, but I think we can make it work. So I do like Jacob Degrom a lot, but I also don't mind Jose Barrios as a GPP pivot. Hopefully you get him on a ceiling game. And then the cheap pitchers, Wade LeBlanc at 6,400. So he's got a 5 xFIP, not good. 17% K rate, also not good. Doesn't walk a lot of guys, so that's good. But I really just like the matchup here versus Texas. As you can see, his splits versus not his splits. Texas's splits versus lefties are not good. What's good for a pitcher? They have a 27% K rate, which is tied for the most in the league. 190 ISO is not the best for pitchers. 310 WOBA, it's okay, but 85 WRC plus is not very good. So I do think this is a pretty good matchup for Wade LeBlanc here. Do I think he's going to score 25 points or anything? No. I mean, he did score 20 points versus Detroit. But Texas is a little bit better of a team. I mean, they are, but versus lefties, I think we can get some strikeouts here. Wade LeBlanc hopefully can get us 12, 15 points. I'd be just fine with that at 6,400. And using him, he allows us to get some of the bats I want tonight. There is quite a few good spots for offenses tonight. So anyway, that's just a preview of the pitching. The hitting's just as in-depth as the pitching sheet. It's got splits versus lefties, righties, all that stuff. I weigh my projections on Vegas, batting order, what the pitcher's doing, park factors, all that good stuff. So if you're interested, that's what it is. It's what I use to help put my cheat sheet together every single day. And if you like the cheat sheet, that's just the analytical, the in-depth breakdown of this pitching sheet, not the entire cheat sheet. Because I like to keep the cheat sheet simple for you guys. So anyway, that's enough of that. So that's my view on the pitching of tonight's slate. So let's get into the catcher position. I have Christian Vasquez at 3,900. Not a lot of good offenses and good matchups on this slate. I know I said there was a few good offenses I like, but there's not a ton. Like last night, that's what I kind of meant. Last night there was just an immense amount of good offenses. We had the Dodgers, the Rockies, the Angels, the Yankees were in a good spot, and there's just a ton of good offenses and good spots last night. This slate, not too many. There's a few though. So I don't mind the Red Sox versus Yarborough. It's he's just an average lefty. He's nothing special. I believe his xFIP's around 4.2. He's just nothing special, and I think the Red Sox get the advantage here, and Vasquez has hit lefties very well this season. Stephen Vogt at 4,400. So surprisingly, the Giants look like one of the better offenses on the slate versus Vasquez, who's a hit-or-miss guy. I know last time, I don't know if this was last time he pitched, but last time I remember he was pitching, it was versus Detroit. I think he made another start before this, but versus Detroit, he went absolutely off. It's just righties versus Detroit, but he is known for giving up power. He's a hit-or-miss guy. If he's on, he's got good strikeout stuff, and he can strike out 10. But if he's off, he's going to give up a ton of power. And, Vegas has the Giants implied at 5-run total right now, so I don't mind these Giants. They're good values. Vogt's not really the best value, but these other guys are coming up soon. Then Manny Pina at 3,200. I wish this game was in Milwaukee, but it's unfortunately in Oakland. But he has smashed lefties in limited sample size this season, boasting a 429 ISO. I much prefer the righties versus Anderson. I believe Matt Olson at 4,300. Athletics are actually coming in at a 5-run total, 5.1 at the moment. I think it came down a little bit since it's open, but I don't mind Matt Olson here. He's a little too cheap in this matchup versus Lyles, who's going to be making his first start for the Brewers. And yeah, he's just been getting hammered by lefties this season, so I do like Matt Olson a lot. G-Man Choi at 4K. I really like the Rays Red Sox game for offense. I really don't have any respect for Porcello's game at this point, especially versus lefties, so just give me all the lefties here. Now, I don't know where he's going to hit in the order because they did make that trade for Eric Sogard, so Choi has been leading off, but I feel like Sogard would be better fit to lead off. But either way, he shouldn't be hitting too low in the order, so I do like Choi quite a bit. Then Brandon Belt at 3,600. He should be leading off, and he does draw a favorable matchup versus Vince Velasquez, who gives up a lot of power. Just hope he doesn't have his stuff and mows down this lineup, which I really don't think he will. So I do like Brandon Belt quite a bit, especially if he is leading off. Honestly, I haven't seen the Giants lineup the past 2 days because I haven't really been targeting them, but I think he's been leading off, so don't mind Brandon Belt. And then at second base, we have Eric Sogard at 4,700. Not exactly sure where he's going to hit in the order, but I imagine it's going to be near the top. And I do love the lefties versus Porcello. Robel Garcia at 3,500. He's taken the leadoff role from Schwartz recently, and he's just a lefty versus Mikolas. And I really didn't say why I like lefties versus Mikolas, because I did have Anthony Rizzo listed in my first base, but I put Matt Olson in for him, so I do like Anthony Rizzo too. But Mikolas is the kind of guy we want to use lefties against, so I do like the lefties for Chicago. The Michael Chavez 4K just already on this Red Sox stack, which I do like quite a bit. At third base, not a lot of options because we either have to spend up or spend down. But I don't mind Alex Bregman up top at 5,200. Astros are one of the better offenses to stack on this slate versus Plesac, who has a below average K rate and is giving up over 200 ISO to righties. Only problem is they are just absolutely expensive. You're not going to be able to afford a full stack, really. It's going to come at the expense of not using Degrom, which I think Degrom is a core play in all formats. So one-offs from the Astros are fine, but if you want to stack the Astros, you're going to have to spend down on pitching. Jose Ramirez at 4,800. I really don't love the Indians in this spot. Vegas has them at around 5, but I don't know. I don't see it. I do respect Urquidy's strikeout rate. I know it's not a big sample, but he did show strikeout rate in the minors, and he has it so far in the majors. 36% to lefties, I believe. And yeah, that's what worries me. Although Ramirez is not a big strikeout guy, so that's why I don't mind him, and he's been on absolute fire. He's one of the few guys I'd target versus Urquidy. Then Joey Wendell at 3K, just very cheap part of that race stack as long as he's in the lineup. Then at shortstop, we got Xander Bogaerts, 5,100. He's killing lefties this season with a 287 ISO, and I do like the Red Sox quite a bit here. So it wouldn't make sense not to have him on the sheet. Frankie Lindor, 5,300. Like J-Ram, he's one of the few tribe players I would target. Big big time game for the Tribe as they need to stick around with the Twins. Twins are getting easy matchups in Miami, although I actually don't remember if they won that game or not. I think they were winning last time I looked, but yeah, the Tribe need to hold on. They just made a big trade, traded away Bauer for Puig, Fanduel Reyes, and was it Logan Allen? Personally, I don't mind the trade. I mean, I love Trevor Bauer. I'm an Indians fan, but they needed some good righty bats instead of Leblanc. They really don't have much. So Reyes and Puig will add a lot of firepower to that lineup. Logan Allen obviously not the best option at pitcher. We did lose a workhorse at pitching. You know how good Trevor Bauer is. He hasn't been the best this season, but he works long into the games, and there's not many guys in the MLB like that anymore. So concern there. Hopefully Kluber comes back, but on Twitter I was looking, people were back and forth. Some people liked the move, some people hated the move. Personally, I think it hurts in my heart because we lost Bauer, but I think it's kind of the right move for the offense. Anyway, you guys probably didn't even care about that anyway, but I wanted to say it. But Brandon Crawford at 3,400. Giants run total is at 5 now, so some of these prices are really nice on these Giants. I'm mainly targeting the lefties here, although Velasquez has given up power to righties, but I'm going to prefer the lefties. And then in the high-end outfield, a lot of good options here. We got Mookie Betts leading the way for me at 5,200. If I'm doing the full Red Sox stacks, I'm not leaving Mookie Betts off, although he's not my preferred option in the outfield for the Red Sox. We'll get to him soon. Yordan Alvarez, 5,500. Like I said, they're priced way up, but I do give them the clear advantage over Plesac, and it's a good ballpark for hitting. And Michael Brantley, 5,100. Brantley's unfortunately out of the 4K range. Very, very sad. Cue the sad music. But it's a great matchup for him back at home versus Plesac. And no, I don't mean home in Houston. If you don't know, he used to play for the Indians for quite a while. And then in the mid-range outfield, we got JD Martinez at 4,900. One of the top plays of the slate, facing a lefty below 5K. Doesn't matter who the lefty is. JD just mashes them. Doesn't matter. And then Austin Meadows at 4,800. Again, one of my favorite plays. I believe he's in the core play section for me. Love the Rays lefties stack, and Meadows is my favorite option of the entire Rays team. And then we got Bryce Harper at 4,300. Shark has been much worse versus lefties this season with an ISO around 240, so I don't mind taking I'm pretty much a one-off guy off with Bryce Harper here. Not too interested in the Philly stack too much, but I could see maybe using Hoskins or Muto in stacks. And then in the value outfield, there's absolutely nothing here. I didn't like anything. So I did find Lorenzo Cain at 3,800. Like I said, nothing down here, but don't mind Cain facing a lefty. Yeah, but the ballpark sucks too. So really, hopefully we don't need a really cheap outfielder. Hopefully we can find the value somewhere else, like at first base and catcher. But yeah, there really wasn't anything I liked in that value outfield today. So anyway, core plays. I did add a Fanduel core section on the sheet too. I'll just put that for the members when I update that throughout the day. But anyway, core plays for me tomorrow are going to be Jacob Degrom at pitcher, 11,800. And then Austin Meadows and JD Martinez at really similar price points. I like the matchups a lot for both of them in the same game. Then the top stacks for me are going to be the Astros. Again, pretty much impossible to afford, but they are my favorite offense. But, I mean, it's kind of unpractical to be able to stack them up for using Degrom, but if you're not using Degrom, I don't mind the full stack. Red Sox and Rays, that's kind of a more practical stack. More speaking of the Rays, because we got cheap guys like Choi, Wendell, those kind of guys, but Red Sox are decently affordable. JD Martinez is 4,900. I know Chavez is decently cheap. Vasquez is, so don't mind them. And then the Giants, they're the most practical. You can very much afford them. I know there shouldn't be a problem with that. They're a good secondary stack onto one of these other stacks. And anyway, that's all I got for the video. Remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. I hope this was helpful to you, and I wish you guys the best of luck tomorrow. And also hit the link in the description below if you want access to this sheet.